How's it, chaps? In today's video, I'm going to need your help, preferably. 5 things we're going to talk about. One, the bench shear that we made a little while ago, well, that's broken. So we're actually going to have a look at that, talk about that quickly. Power tapping. I've made a rudimentary power tapping system. I'm going to need some help with that from you guys, some feedback. Flooded coolant for the drill press, the third thing. Fourth thing is, what is it? Oh, wireless mic. Got a new wireless mic. Going to be doing a full review on this, so this is kind of sort of a preempt to that. Hopefully it's sounding okay. And lastly, the workshop garage is going to be getting bigger. I've got a fairly good feeling that it's going to be getting bigger, so stick around for that. I'm definitely going to need your guys' input when that arrives. So without further ado, let's get started. Welcome back to the Burton Builds garage. First thing up to talk about today is our shear that we made. Now, as I said, I did break it, somewhat break it. That's this thing over here. If you did miss that, check it out. It's in, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 videos ago, somewhere around there. Working perfectly when I was cutting the 6mm BMS round stock. I cut hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of short pieces, and it worked flawlessly. No wear shown on the blade or either side of the blade. Perfect. The reason it broke is because I thought, let me take a chance and try and cut some stainless steel. Now, while stainless steel is not extremely hard, it is quite tough material, and I can tell you that it would require a lot more force to pull the handle and to shear the stainless off. And I thought, you know what, let me just take a chance, see what happens, and well, the blade eventually broke. Here is the blade. Just want to check it feels like this mic is going down. Yeah, not a great fit. I actually enjoy using the lapel mic plugged into this thing, but I thought, well, let's give it a chance today since I'm trying to review it. Yeah, this was the blade that was made out of one half of the blade, made out of an old file, working perfectly well, but of course the way I cut it, it had stress risers, stress points on it, and well, that's where it broke. So that part broke, ended up just carrying on with this part of the blade. Now this part is still a piece of an old file, this part is just mild steel, and I cut also at least 100 pieces of stainless steel. Worked perfectly. The blade doesn't show any wear, just that one snapped. The mild steel is slightly bending, but that's not a problem because I can always just replace the mild steel piece. That's very easy to work with. So yeah, just keep that in mind if you are going to make your own shear. Maybe use the right materials or don't expect too much from it. Just quickly before we move on, the belt grinder that I made, still using this thing on a daily basis. Man, it works awesome. So don't be scared if you want to build your own belt grinder. It's not that difficult. Do a little bit of research and I'm sure you can make something just as well. So this is what I needed your guys' help with, or your opinions on it. So I've been doing a lot more drilling lately and getting kind of tired of dribbling oil onto everything that I drill through. I've kind of been doing a little bit more production style drilling, if you want to describe it that way. So I definitely wanted a flooded coolant system like you see on lathes and milling machines. But I was kind of torn between how to make this and how to make a bit of a splash guard and the whole thing. So what I originally decided is to and my wife kind of helped me with this, we just made a simple thing with curtains. Now, originally, I thought this was going to work, but I kind of wanted a solid type of splash guard. Although that thought has now changed, and this is what I wanted you guys to give your input on. I basically just put a curtain around here. Now, this curtain is easily retractable. Just opens up just like that, and closes up just as easy, of course. Now, if you didn't have a not a soft type of curtain, if you had steel sides, you couldn't really do that. So the reason I started thinking about it this way is that when I do need to drill bigger pieces of material, that I can just open the curtain and that it exposes the entire table of the drill. Although, don't comment on this here, this is just a temporary thing. I know the drill is against the wall, so that is kind of going to limit me. This is just in a temporary location for now. It is going to be moving to a bigger workshop. So as I said, this is what we ended up coming up with as a form of splash protection, basically just a curtain, and went with a standard old piece of 8mm Festo hose for the coolant delivery. Got a little bit of, I don't know, a type of bracket, nothing too spectacular or too special here. And then if we have a look at the bottom, now again, this is probably not the best situation to be in, but the base of our drill, I don't even know what it's focusing on there, hopefully it is focused. The base of our drill is actually standing in a big bucket of coolant. And in the bottom here we can see our little coolant pump. This thing is actually just a pond pump. It was $200, like, I don't know, $15 odd. So really nothing to break the bank about. It is working pretty damn well. Yeah, I mean, literally it's just standing in there. Again, I just did this to see how this is going to work, and funny enough, it's working really, really well. I do apologize if it is a little bit dark in here. There's not much light, and that big sort of studio style light doesn't really fit in here. So if it is a little bit dark, might be a little bit grainy, go fetch your flashlight, put that on, that'll help you see in the dark. Maybe. So a closer look here, I just took this pond pump, and this one came with a type of a sponge filter in it. Now that's inside the pump. I ended up just wrapping some mesh around it. Got this, this was just lying around, but originally I got this from one of the local material shops, and it's been working perfectly for quite a while now. As simple as it is, sometimes it's just those simple, cheap ideas that actually work. When you overcomplicate things, well, that's sometimes when they go a bit out of whack. Working pretty damn well so far, although what I do want to do is eventually into this black tub here. I've got 15 liters in this tub, so I'm guessing the tub is probably around about 60 liters, maybe 50 liters, because it's this far from the bottom. I do want to make a hole in the bottom so that this whole lot drains into, let's say, a 20-liter bucket, so that it drains away from the base of the drill, and then it's kept in a sealed bucket that's not open to the air, and maybe that helps eliminate, well, it's not eliminate, but helps reduce some of the evaporation of the water. Now this is a water-based coolant, emulsified oil. I think it's I can't remember, Quaker or something like that. I'll put the spec up on screen. Working really well, nice and slippery, doesn't smell too bad at all, and yeah, really enjoying it so far. Bit of a stupid angle here, but I just wanted to show you that to turn our pump on, what I'm thinking about doing, I don't know if this is a great idea, so maybe you guys can give me some feedback on that, but I'm thinking of putting a little spring style of switch over here on the quill, so that as I pull the quill down, then it turns the switch on, that automatically turns the pump on or the coolant on. Now, so I'll place my whatever it is in here, remembering this is kind of production style work, put it into the jig or the clamp or the fixture, and then just pull down and the coolant switches on. But currently it's pretty simple. I've got it connected up to the light switch. Now the light is in here. I don't use the light, I pretty much never have really. So just disconnected that, and to turn it on at the moment, we just hit the pump or the switch, and then our coolant turns on. And you can see it turns on fairly quickly. So in my curtain design, there is a bit of functionality in, as I mentioned, making it a bit larger for bigger material, for drilling bigger material. Of course, don't look at this. This is definitely to electrical code. Not really, but this is just for trial purposes, so we'll get rid of that. But to make it adjustable, what I basically did was made a little bracket over here, and I used some square bar. So this is 10 by 10 square bar. Just made a little square bracket and then bolted that onto the motor mount. So the way this works, fairly simple. We just pull out as far as we want to, although not too far to pull the bar out, as far as we want to extend the curtain, and then it gives us more space to work. So just extending the curtain from another view, all we do is slide it out as far as we need, and still provides quite a good splash guard and then creates a lot more space. And of course, this end here, probably slightly out of focus. This thing will make you blind pretty quickly if you walk into it. I'm probably going to put like a tennis ball or something on the end here. We'll get to that. But then to pack it away, you know, when you need a lot of space, especially in a small workshop, then we just push it in. Of course, it's getting hooked on the other side, yeah, now that I want to show you how it works. But you just push it in and then it gets a whole lot more compact. The other side works exactly the same as this side. And to show you guys how it works, of course, do as I say, not as I do. Should be using gloves, should be in a clamp, a vise, a drilling vise. I don't have one of those. So yeah, definitely this is the correct way of how not to do things. Pretty simply, just putting on the pump and the coolant. We can also adjust it fairly easily, and then popping this on now. Also, this is a 5mm drill at 180 RPM. It's not the correct speed. I just wanted to show you guys how it works and how easily it is. Now, it doesn't splash too much. Pretty glad about that, but I do have a splash guard, and there we go. Just as simple as that. Here's the splash guard, by the way. Piece of Corex that just gets clamped on with some bulldog clamps and then gets clamped onto the edge of the table. I did mention in the beginning of the video power tapping, and specifically now power tapping with a drill press. I've got a lot of holes to tap. Also, I don't have a power tapping, a tap head for the drill press. I don't have like tapping equipment or anything like that really. Chingos. Got a gas bottle standing out, a bit of a ring coming off the gas bottle. So decided to make my own, and this is what I wanted to get your guys' feedback on. I've made a little bit of a housing, fixture plate here that bolts onto the motor, the drill press's motor. I wanted to use this entire drill press because it's already a frame, it's already perpendicular to the holes that I want to tap. Everything's there. The jig for drilling the holes to be tapped is also there. The quill, it's easy to just pull it down and run a tap through it. Everything is there except for the motor. So the easiest way that I thought of to do this, to use this whole setup, and I've still got the option of changing speeds, through the belts on the top, is driving the motor. So what I ended up doing was just installing making a little bracket, just turning that on the lathe quickly, and installing a little, I think this is a 19mm coupling nut on the bottom, and then some way of driving this nut. Now, of course, while we're driving this with another motor, we don't want to power up this motor, definitely not. So that's just something that I have to keep in mind. Maybe we'll put some type of logic system or switch in at a later stage. So anyway, did this, and what I came up with just to try this, now don't shoot me down for this, maybe it's a good or bad idea, is I have these drills, I have two of them, and they run at pretty low speed, and I used to just do tapping directly with these. Put the tap in the chuck, and just it's slow enough and it's got enough torque at slow speed to just power tap through there. Was working perfectly. So I thought, well, if it's strong enough to do that, it's definitely strong enough to run through the whole system and power tap like that using the drill press. So it's pretty simple. All I made is, again, just a piece of wood and some clamps. I didn't want to butcher up my drills. I mean, there's absolutely nothing wrong with them, even though I do take them apart, and some people mock me about taking them apart, and do they actually work when I put them back together? For those of you who do question that, every single one of my tools does still work even after I've taken it apart. So yeah, this works fairly well. Just a simple, I've got a 19mm socket on here. I keep on feeling this mic, it feels like it wants to flip over. Again, that's why I like using it with a lapel and having this on my belt. But nonetheless, we'll check it out today. So that drill just goes up there, it aligns with our nut. It's got a little gutter bracket. Now this is this little 50mm gutter bracket there. Just kind of lines it up. Fairly simple to do. And then we've got our brackets here. This little one just holds it in on the bottom, like that. I think this is the wrong one actually. Maybe it's the right one. Anyway, we tighten this up on the bottom, and then we would also we'd also tighten this one up over here. I won't do that now, but I mean, you guys know how that works. I'll just put it in there loosely. And then you pull the trigger, just like that, and then you can reverse it for getting the tap out, just like that, and it taps perfectly well. The only downside, I'll show you now, and yeah, that's going to lead on to my question, is what do you guys think that I can use to power this tapping system by not using one of these drills? I don't want to mess with the trigger. I don't want to strip anything here, and I want control of what is happening here, but from the front of the drill press. Also, I'm going to be making this sliding so that when you do quickly want to convert it to a drill or to a drilling machine, you just untighten, you know, one grub nut, and then the whole lot just slides down just enough to decouple this bit over here, and then it's decoupled. When you want to tap again, untighten it, put it up, tighten it again, couples that, and then there we are. Using it is fairly simple. I'm having to stand at the side of the drill press with the quill being, you know, you've got to grab it across the drill press, not the best idea. But anyway, this is the only way that I can do it for now with the drill. So when we want to tap, we'll, you know, get the drill running the correct way, and then I'll stand with one hand on the trigger and then control the speed, and you'll see that the chuck is actually turning. Of course, there's a drill bit in here. I know that, guys. This, I didn't put the tap in. I'll show you a quick insert video of that shortly. But you know, just to show you, here's our fixture, and then we would push the drill, and then we would feed the quill down until it takes into the hole, and then we continue drilling or tapping, and then we just flip the direction, push the button, and then the tap winds itself out of the hole. It works really well. Here's a quick insert of that. Terrible angle here, guys. I know sun is in the wrong place, but you know, we got to work with what we got for now. So what I eventually want to do is have the controls over here so that I can get to the quill from you know, the front of the drill, and then maybe have a forward and a reverse button over here, and then have that coolant system running, you know, automatically as I pull the quill down. So in order to do this, of course, I could make a mechanical setup that kind of feeds back through there with bicycle cables or with some type of linkage system that goes onto the drill. I like the drill idea because you can just take the battery off. It's super powerful, super simple actually to use. I mean, that thing, I can tell you, it will snap an M12 drill bit, an M12 tap off. Don't ask me how I know that, but it will snap it off. I don't have a clutch system for this, for tapping. So it's powerful enough. What I did think of is that maybe I can use a windscreen wiper motor. Now, you know, a windscreen wiper motor, of course, is a DC motor, and it's easily reversible, so I can just reverse it with various relays. Of course, I would have to get quite a powerful, maybe a 12 volt 10 amp or 12 volt 20 amp power supply to run that, and then I could just incorporate as a drive, incorporate that as a drive motor. So what do you guys think? What other motors could I use? You know, there's gate motors that I can get my hands on, although those are probably a bit more costly than just an old windshield wiper motor from a motor car or a truck. Or do I just stick with the drill? What do you guys think? What are your experiences on that? Let me know in the comments. This is working really well for me now, but as I said, I want to modify it so that I can use it from the front of the drill press. Fourth thing I said we were going to touch on, or I don't know if we're going quite in order, was again the review on the new mic, the wireless the Rode Wireless Go 2 system. Now I've got that, I have been using it, been doing a bit of testing, loving it so far, although I do find wearing a shirt, just a shirt with this thing clipped on, it's actually very irritating to use. Although we'll get into the full review on that, although I must say, I mean, you guys have seen me fiddling with it in the video, it kind of folds itself down inside your shirt. Again, that's why I like using lapel mics. I will have a full review on that, so if any of you are interested, if any of you make your own videos, you know, that type of thing, stick around for that. Don't go away. I know the content has been a little bit slow, guys. There's been a lot going on in the last few months, and it's going to reveal itself probably fairly shortly. Also, I did want to say this has been working really well. I'm sure you guys saw me unbox this TIG welder. Very happy with it so far. The teardown and the walkthrough of the panel it's coming. It's in the pipeline. Actually, I should say a lot of the videos are actually all already shot. They're just not edited. And some of them I've just got to add intros and outros to them. The tool reviews, I haven't forgotten about those. They are still coming. I've got grinders, jigsaw, SDS drill, what else? Jeez, there's a couple of other little odds and ends. We're going to do initial look at, you know, teardowns, look at how they work. I mean, the SDS drill, it's down there. I've had it for, man, I've probably had it for like a year and a half. Been meaning to get around to it, been meaning to show you guys. I just haven't had the chance. Yeah, we will get around to that. And the fifth thing I said we were going to talk about, the size of the workshop increasing. Follow me out, and we'll quickly talk about that. The original workshop, the home of Burton Builds, is potentially going to be going to a bigger workshop. I'm not going to be telling you too much about that now. Hopefully we're able to pull this off in the future. I'll take you guys along for the ride. There are some of you that are already being involved in what we're trying to achieve. And, you know, for those of you who aren't or don't quite know what's going on, you know, stick around within the next 2, 3, 4, 5 months, 6 months, I'm sure you're going to see big changes happening. You guys are going to be along for the ride, and we're going to be looking at expanding sort of what we do, more how-to videos, more basics about, you know, getting basic stuff done. Yeah, I don't want to give away too much yet. Stick around. I promise you it's not only racing content that's coming out on the channel as much as you might think it is. I'm slowly going to start bringing up the stuff that all of you guys know and love. So please stick around for that. Leave us some comments in the comments section. Guys, I really would appreciate your feedback on the coolant system and the power tapping. Like and subscribe, please, to the video. I just want you to think about it this way, maybe. If we could get sort of this video shared as much as possible by giving it thumbs up, by liking, subscribing, sharing it with your mates, with your friends. So the more people that find out about it, well, the more that YouTube recommends it, and the more people that find out about it, then the more feedback we can get on that coolant system and on the power tapping. And in the end, all of us are going to you know, I'm kind of at a loss for words now, or we're all going to gain experience and knowledge from that. So guys, until next time, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Always love to hear from you. We'll see you next time. Cheers.